Hey, Albert here from Mainland Cycle Center, and today we're going to take a look at the 2026 Kawasaki Ninja 500. And so I was thinking, okay, what would be a good bike to make my next video of? And I think I'll make one on the 2026 Ninja 500 because there's hardly any Ninja 500 videos on YouTube, right? Wrong. But this is one of our most popular bikes. This is the most popular model that we sell at our dealership. And I'm sure that it's the most popular model for Kawasaki. And I'm sure that it's probably one of the most popular models of at least uh, uh, Japanese motorcycles sold for sure um, in the US, in America. And so the Ninja 500, a very popular model is what I'm trying to say. And because it's a great bike, um, and the resale values go on. They're very, very reliable. Very, very few issues with these bikes, almost none. And they're just quite good motorcycles. Very easy to drive, very user friendly, whether you're a new rider or a seasoned rider. And they're just fantastic, and then they're priced right to boot. So let's take a look. And I think that this one, hands down, I'm willing to bet is going to be the most popular color for 2026. This black on black. So this is a flat metallic spark black, something like that. So you can see the matte black here, and then there's some touches of gloss black. You got gloss black here, gloss black on the wheels, and and so forth. But I would think that if you wanted to do one of these kind of special, you could probably black this, the heel guards. You could black out a few more things and take this all black theme a little further. But it looks great just the way it is. So 2026 Ninja 500. This has a parallel twin, so that means it's a two-cylinder twin. Parallel means it's in line, two cylinders right next to each other. It's dual overhead cam, 4 valve per cylinder, 8 valves total. And these, of course, are liquid cooled and fuel injected. And they really run great. These are, we call it a Ninja 500, but it is 451 cc's. Um, you know, and what I love about these bikes is that now that they are 451 cc, a Ninja 500, they really have great power, uh, good mid-range power, some a little bit of low-end power compared to the Ninja 250s. Okay, because this bike evolved from the Ninja 250, right? So we had the uh, Ninja 250s, we had Ninja 300s, and then we had Ninja 400s, and now Ninja 500s. And Kawasaki has just owned this class for multiple decades now. Kawasaki has just been the leader in this entry level sport bike class. This has a 6-speed transmission. One of the cool things about Kawasaki's, almost every Kawasaki street bike, for sure, not on motocross bikes and off-road bikes, but most every Kawasaki street bike, with the exception of some of the Ninja, the H2 models that have the dog ring transmission, almost all of the Kawasaki's have what's called a positive neutral finder. So positive neutral finder. So the bike was in neutral. I just put it in first gear, pushed it down to first gear. Now when I kick up to go to neutral, it's going to go to neutral and it will not go past neutral. So this bike has the positive neutral finder. And so when you're stopped, the wheels are not rolling, meaning the transmission shafts are not turning. This bike, 99 times out of 100, it will not come out of neutral into second. Now once you get rolling, it will. Okay, and it's a very simple uh, deal that Kawasaki came up with. Um, it's a couple of ball bearings and a little machining and centrifugal force, and that's all it is. And but Kawasaki's patented it, and apparently nobody else can use it. But and it's just fantastic. It's just a really, really nice feature. Meaning, if you come to a stop, you click it up, and it's going to go right to neutral 99 times out of 100. And that's really a great feature, especially for everybody. I enjoy it. You know, if I'm sitting at a long red light, I can click it into neutral, let go of the clutch. Although this has a really light, easy clutch, we'll talk about that. But positive neutral finder, great feature that maybe you didn't know about. Also, the clutch on these bikes is a what we call an assist and slipper clutch, and so real light, easy clutch pull. And I can push the clutch with one finger, and super light, easy clutch pull, and then it has a back torque slipper clutch in it. So if you're doing some hard engine braking, it'll keep you from locking up the rear wheel. Now, if you're a Ninja 500 owner or you're about to be looking at buying one of these, one of the things I want you to pay attention to on your Ninja 500 is the slack in the clutch cable. I don't know if you can see. If I can get this in there. But see, there's a little bit of just slack in it. So this gap right here should be 2 to 3 millimeters of play in the clutch cable. A lot of people, I think, see this adjuster and they want to tighten that up and take that play out of that cable, out of that lever. You don't want to do that. We have seen just a handful, some on the Ninja 400s, and then some. I think I can only think of like one on a Ninja 500 that we've seen where the clutches were burned up in these bikes. And I think what those bikes had in common was that when they came in, there was no slack in the clutch cable. And so um, I would, if I had a Ninja 500, Ninja 400, I would make sure that I had plenty of slack in this clutch cable. I have not seen one where I know, because I have this conversation with buyers at the dealership because we sell a lot of Ninja 500s at our dealership. And when I sell one to someone, I make sure there's plenty of slack in the clutch cable before it leaves. And because some of these come right out of the crate, there's not a ton of slack in them. They're not necessarily tight, but there's not a lot of slack. But many times I'll add some slack to these cables on brand new Ninja 500s. And so, but I'll have the conversation with the customer too that it should have that slack. That is normal for it to do that and to not take that slack out of there. And I haven't had anybody that I had that conversation with and told them about that had a clutch problem. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe that's not what's causing these, but I would definitely make sure that there was plenty of slack in that clutch cable. So we talked about the clutch. We talked about the shifter. Hey, it's got a helmet lock. Uh, right here is where you put your key to pop the rear seat off. Then once you get the rear seat off, there's a little pull under there. Pull, and that takes the front seat off, and the battery is underneath this seat. 17-inch wheels, front and rear. It's got a 150, a 60-17 rear, and a 110, 70-17 front. And that's a pretty beefy tire for this size bike. A 150 in the back really looks great, nice and fat. And these bikes are just really easy. They're low maintenance, really easy to drive. That FCC, that slipper clutch, super light, has a really wide friction zone on it. So if you're looking at Ninja 500s, maybe you're a new rider, and maybe you've never even driven something with a manual transmission. Manual transmission automobiles are getting rarer and rarer, and this is going to be your first foray into a manual transmission and a manual clutch. Don't be afraid of it on this bike. You can learn to do this very easily. This is about as easy a bike to learn to do that on as there is. And so don't be afraid of that. Oil level, very easy to check your engine oil. There's a little sight window right there. Bottom of the window's low, top of the window's full. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Here we go. So there's two marks. You can see the oil level in the window. There's a mark for full and a mark for low. As long as you've got a level anywhere in that window, it's okay. Now, when you're checking that, you want to make sure that the bike is standing straight up and down like it is now on this lift. And if you're running the motorcycle, you want to wait a few minutes and let that let that oil drain down. Nissan 2-piston calipers, front and rear. So a Nissan 2-piston caliper in the back, Nissan 2-piston caliper in the front. You'll notice this is ABS. ABS means anti-lock brake system. And so Kawasaki does make the Ninja 500 with and without ABS. At our dealership, we don't order the non-ABS models. I think we actually have one in stock. I'm not even sure how we did that, but somehow we got one in stock now. And but as a general rule, we don't order the non-ABS models because I just don't think it's worth it. I think that by and large, most people who are buying one of these should buy the ABS model, and I can't think of any reason to not buy it. To tell you the truth, maybe if you're going to get one strictly to go racing, possibly, but I don't know if that's I don't know if that's even necessary then. Let's take a look at the dash and some of the controls. Turn our key on. This bike is cold, so it'll idle fast when I turn it on. I'll crank it up in a minute. I'm not going to crank it up just yet. You'll see that the ABS light is on. That ABS light will go off once you drive just a little bit. The check engine lights flash on this one. This is a brand new bike, 0 miles. When we sell this bike, we will connect it to our Kawasaki computer, and it's called a registration check or something. And so anyway, it just checks for updates and that kind of thing, and it'll clear that. But that just tells us that that hasn't been done yet. There's nothing wrong with the motorcycle. And then your oil pressure light's going to be on because it's not running, so there's no oil pressure. Our neutral light is on. Remember we talked about that positive neutral finder. Here's a look at your left hand handlebar control, high beam and low beam. Turn signals, push left to go left, push in to cancel, push right to go right, push in to cancel. Hazard lights, so it has hazards. You can flash all 4 turn signals, and then your horn right there. Honk the horn. And then over here, we just got engine kill and start. And then, of course, your front brake lever there. Use your key to open the gas cap. Put your key in there. Regular 87 octane fuel is fine on this one. There's 2-piece seats. But yeah, pretty standard. See if I can get a good look at that glare on there. So odometer, tachometer, speedometer, fuel gauge, clock, gear position indicator is standard on it there. Trip meters, so coolant temp can also get on there, temp there. And then trip meter A, trip meter B, current miles per gallon, average miles per gallon, estimated fuel range. You also get all that information as well. Let's see, coolant reservoir is right in there. It's where you check the coolant. You just give the bike a little shake. I don't know if we can see the coolant moving in there or not. So see that coolant moving in the bottom of that bottle. And that's what you want with that coolant bottle. You don't want it empty and you don't want it full. But let's go ahead and crank this one up. Now, you know, it's these bikes sound terrible on film. And so a lot of times they sound like they're knocking and clattering, and they're really not. But it's just, that's the sound that the camera's picking up. So, but it is kind of fun to hear the exhaust note and that kind of thing, I guess. LED rear tail light. Both headlights are on. LED headlights, nice and bright and white. So anyway, we do at one of the things we do with these is we stock the Yoshimura slip-on muffler on these. These really sound great with the Yoshimura on them. We've got one at the dealership now that has the Yoshimura slip-on, Yoshimura fender eliminator kit, and then we did a lowering kit on it. So we can lower these. So these are pretty low seat height, 30.9 inches, I believe. Real low seat height. It's also a very light bike at about 374 pounds, 375 pounds. Super light. This has a steel trellis frame, which you can't really see, but basically uh, it means that you've got a frame and it's kind of triangulated the pieces of the frame in there, which gives a lot of rigidity with less weight. And that's one of the things that really contributes to how light this bike is that trellis frame. This bike, as opposed to a backbone frame there. Um, there was something else I was fixing to say and I forgot. But super light, really easy. 375 pounds, low seat height. Oh, we can lower these. We can lower these a couple of inches. We slip the fork tubes in the triple clamps. We do a lowering link on the bottom, and then we also have to change the side stand. But so if you're close to, if this is still a little bit tall for you, uh, come and see us. We can look at lowering your Ninja 500, or we'll sell you one that's already lowered. Uh, let's see what else. So I wrote some little bit of specs and some info down. So the 2026 Ninja 500 ABS. MSRP on this one behind me is $57.99. The KRT model would likely be a little more depending on the color. And then the SE models are going to be more expensive as well. 450cc parallel twin, 6-speed transmission with positive neutral finder. It has an O-ring chain, so a sealed chain, O-ring chain, 310 millimeter front brake rotor, 220 millimeter rear brake rotor, 3.7 gallon fuel tank, and that was right, 30.9 inches on the seat height, and a curb weight, 374.9 inches. These come standard with a 12-month warranty from Kawasaki. Plus, you can add up to an additional 48 months. So 1 year, you add 4, you total of 5 years of Kawasaki warranty. And so 1 year of Kawasaki factory warranty, and then 4 years of Kawasaki Protection Plus is what KPP means. But if you're interested with these Ninja 500s, come down and see us. Mainland Cycle Center. We're located in Lamarck, Texas. We're about 30 minutes south of downtown Houston, just off of I-45. You can find us online at mainlandcyclecenter.com or by phone at 409-948-4969. And we would just love it if you'd give us a call, shoot us an email, or even better, come on and see us at Mainland Cycle Center, where we'd love to help any way that we can. Hey, thanks for watching.